this year's team is good. Macio Teague joins us from the 2021 Baylor National Championship team on Sikkim 365 Radio, now a part of the Salt Lake City Stars. Man, we miss your face, man. We miss your smile, your demeanor, your personality. How are you doing right now?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Just glad to. I'm happy to be on the show. I'm glad you guys are having me, man. I thank you.
All right. So, how has been your start? I think 17 games is how many games you have played. I know it hasn't been a good wins and losses. That might be part of the question. But how do you feel right now about your game?
I feel like I'm doing pretty well. I'm averaging a decent amount, 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. So I'm playing a good amount, a different role, and it's a different environment. And it's been a learning period, and just trying to get adjusted to the professional life.
How much do you feel your game has grown each year since you transferred, sat out, played when you did with Baylor? How do you feel? Can you see those gains year after year?
Yeah, for sure. I can see that when I first got to Baylor, I learned how to score better off one-on-one, playing Davion every day. That really helped me out a lot in the redshirt year. Then I feel like I've progressively learned how to play off the ball as well, because I was more on the ball when I was at Asheville. And then since I've been a pro, getting back on the ball and making the ball screen reads, because I didn't really have to do a lot of the reads at Asheville. So now I've been learning to make ball screen reads and run the offense, run the pick and roll.
What's been the most eye-opening part of being a professional basketball player?
The fact that it's such a business. Like, we've had guys on the team who were there for 2 days and literally got cut. And just the fact that guys are getting shipped in and shipped out so frequently, just trying to build a roster and build the right team around the coaching staff and around the organization, that it's such a business that it's kind of different than coming from college.
Is there like a constant anxiety because there's so much uncertainty?
Not for me. I mean, I try to go at it as control what you can control. Like, I can't control whether I'm getting cut. Like, sure, I can play as good as I can play, but
right.
At the end of the day, if a team doesn't like you, if somebody comes in and says they don't like you, then you're going to get shipped out. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference. And I wouldn't say I'm uncertain about anything because it's all in God's control.
Macio, you played football when you were pretty young, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You played football when you were 7 years old. In fact, you played quarterback and you were pretty good in picking up plays. Do you remember like the first start of your football career and how quickly you were able to pick up plays at 7 years old at quarterback?
Yeah, I remember I learned all the plays pretty fast. Like, I was comfortable doing everything out there except going under the center. You got to stick your hands pretty low down there. And I remember when I first started, my coach forced me, he would put my hands all the way down there because I would drop the snap. I would drop it 50% of the time because I wouldn't put my hands all the way down there, but just getting comfortable with that. But I was really good at quarterback. I was actually really good at football going up to middle school, but I just love basketball so much. And I actually hated football, so I stopped playing. But I was pretty good, though.
Well, that is always the weirdest adjustment if you're taking snaps at quarterback. You don't quite understand until you're shown. Like, no, get in there.
Look, I'll tell you, as a guy who tried to play center, it's not any.
Oh my Lord! Yeah. Imagine and I have to ask this. So you're playing in the middle of the heat of the summer or practice or whatever. That's even worse, right? To put your hands underneath the center.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You watch quarterbacks nowadays. You watch a quarterback in the NFL, you always see them licking their fingers. So, hey, it's a little weird, man. That quarterback gets a little weird.
Oh, my Macio Teague with us, Sikkim 365 Radio.
See, I told our interns thought I was going to ask you about the college football playoff today because I was describing something. Like, why would you ask D? I said, he's got opinions on things. But Macio, you were part of our documentary, Ode to Joy, which I don't know. Have you been able to see it yet? Have they sent you a copy?
I haven't seen it. They said that. I'll tell you guys off the air, but they said that I could see it later, in the later date.
Yeah,
I think in March.
Yeah. Well, you're great. You're great in the documentary. I do want to tell a quick little story. There's a moment where they ask you about life in the bubble. You really enjoyed the bubble, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I love the bubble. Like, some people were saying how they didn't really enjoy it. Like, we wish we could have went home. No, it was distractions going back to school. It was all this stuff. And the guys got to be together. Like, that was the last month. Like, we literally spent the last month of the season together with each other. And we'll never have that opportunity to do that again because we knew, everybody knew that I wasn't coming back. We knew Davion wasn't coming back because his name was going up. And we knew that Jared wasn't coming back. Nobody ever said it. but we knew that was the case. So we knew that, and we knew that Mark wasn't coming back as well. So we knew that, like the team, like it would just never be the same. So I enjoyed every minute of it.
So, you're from Cincinnati, obviously. What were your thoughts about the Bengals being so close to a world championship?
Man, honestly, watching the game, they should have won the game. They definitely should have won the Super Bowl, I feel like. And we're not going to say what the ref should have done, what the ref shouldn't have done. I mean, they had I don't think they scored the ball in the second half. So it was very disappointing. But to see the city in the way that it was, like I FaceTime my friends, my brother and sister from back home, and they went out on Super Bowl, and it was crowded. My sister was at, I think, a place called Yard House, and she got there at noon, and there was nowhere for her to sit. And everybody stayed for the game, and the game was 6 hours later. So everybody was out there camping out for the game. My brother was out. It was packed out with the capacity where he was. So, the environment, I know the businesses downtown were flourishing. And it was just a great time for the city. So, I'm happy.
Macio Teague, Salt Lake City Stars, the guard, former Baylor All-American, and also national champion with us on 365 Sports.
Macio, what have you thought about what Davion Mitchell's been doing in Sacramento?
He's been playing pretty well. I talk to Dave probably 3 times a week, 3-4 times a week. So we rarely talk about basketball, but when we do, he talks about how he's getting in the groove of things. At first, he wasn't really playing well. I was talking to Rim about it, and he wasn't shooting the ball well. I should say that. And Rim and I were just saying how he's going to find it, how he's going to get it going, and literally, as soon as we talked about it, the very next game, I think he had his career high, and he's been playing well ever since going into All-Star break. So hopefully, he can keep his momentum going coming out of All-Star break.
Do you work? I mean, I know you're a hard worker. That's why you guys are kind of a match. All the guys that you had on your team, everybody. You even go back to Freddie Gillespie. Everybody worked really hard. But have you found that I had an English teacher in college or in high school that was really tough. And then I had a guy in college who tried to be tough, but he was not near as tough as that guy. Do you find that maybe that you've got a lot of guys who are working hard, but that group that you guys had, that's hard to find gym rats like that all together?
Yeah, it definitely is. I would definitely say that it's hard. I feel like that would be hard to match going forward. Just the amount of guys that we saw in the gym in and out. It was times where I wanted to go to the gym at night and shoot by myself. And just so I could hear my ball bouncing. And I would go in there and I would hear somebody else's ball bouncing along with 2 other ones. I'm like, man, I'm about to just come back in an hour because there was 3 people in the gym and it's 11 o'clock. So yeah, I would definitely say it would be hard to replicate that.
So who did the coaches have to try to get to leave the gym most? Was it you, Davion, Freddie, Jared? Who was the one that had you just need to go home for a little while?
I would say, honestly, they wouldn't do it to me because I'm a really rhythm guy, and they would say that Macio dies in here, he'll be all right in the game, he'll be fine, he'll figure out a way to get his legs good for in the game. I would say I don't think they honestly pushed anybody out the gym. I would say if they had to tell anybody to relax, it would probably be John, because John, he not only does he work out, but he'll be doing full court running to a ball screen, and then he's sprinting to rim, rolling, and then he's dunking as hard as he can. It's John, we got a game and tomorrow, and he's doing a full 50-minute workout. Then he's gonna go in and lift. Then he's gonna come back and shoot. To where I would be doing maintenance stuff. I would be in there for an hour and a half, but it would be maintenance stuff, some stuff I feel I need to touch up on. But John is working out it's July, so I would say if anybody, it was probably John.
So then, when you saw him go down to the ground, or whenever that was, how gut wrenching was that, knowing what happened to his knee?
It was very upsetting just because, the amount of work that he put in. I understand that he was in the gym shooting so many shots. When I saw him shooting the basketball, when I would come back and shoot, he's one of the guys that I was referring to. I understood that, when he's working out, he's working to try to get better so he can go to the next level. I understand that John is in there guarding literally for 30 minutes straight, playing one-on-one. Me and Davion playing on this offense. John is guarding for literally 30 minutes straight, just trying to figure out how he can get better so he can switch out on the guard. And he can run a 1 through 5 switching on in the defense for Baylor. So I understood that. So it was really hurtful to see John go down in a way that he did and have a season-ending injury.
What have you thought about what you've seen from the team this year? Obviously, there's been injuries galore that have kind of interrupted being able to build that chemistry. That's something you guys had some experience with at times. It's been kind of off and on herky-jerk because of guys being in and out of the lineup, and now we know JTT's gone for the rest of the year, but hey, only 5 losses. They're right there, top 10-ish and right in the thick of things. How do you feel about the Bears in 2021?
I feel good about them this year. I feel like they're doing a great job working with what they have, and not only that, they're overcoming a lot. So I'm enjoying watching them play. I've watched probably, I think they played 24 games. I probably watched 16 of them, and yeah, like I think that they're doing a good job, like working with each other, because I know when a lot of times guys get hurt. So not only does that affect them in the games, that affects them in practice.
Yep.
Because guys aren't being together as much. Like even in practice, like some guys might be in a locker room doing rehab and stuff like that, so they're not getting the full concept of what's going on in practice. So when they do come back, they're a little bit behind. So it's just the little things like that may be slowing them down. But I feel like they'll figure it out. They got a great coaching staff and a great group of learners over there, and all the players.
You surprised your mom last night? You showed up at the house? Was she not expecting you?
No, she was not expecting me. She knew I was coming home this weekend, but she didn't know when. Like I never told her, and she was asking me like when I was coming home, and she had FaceTimed me earlier that day, and I didn't respond. And I know she was probably thinking like, why didn't he call back? But it was because I was like on the road and I was like driving back home. So yeah, she did not know I was coming.
You know, there's a lot of incredible parents all throughout Baylor athletics, but Barbara, your mother, is amazing. She still is as passionate about Baylor as maybe not quite with you being on the team the last few years, but she still gives them a pep talk. I think they may need her to come down and talk to them.
Yeah, she's still really passionate about the team, man. She supports a lot of guys, especially the guys that she knew last year that were on the team and that I would speak about a lot. And so she's a really big Baylor fan, really big supporter of the Bears, and not only basketball, football as well. She like tweets about the football team more than I can handle. Like sometimes I hope she doesn't hear this, but I had to mute her a couple of times on Twitter. She tweets so much.
Does she still have? I know she taught you how to shoot. Does she still have, like, if you guys played horse right now, could she still hang?
Yeah, she can still hang. She's gonna shoot all mid range, but she can still hang though. She'll make them though. She'll probably shoot like 6 warm-up shots and be like, all right, I'm ready. And I just find that like baffling that anybody can just come in the gym and just shoot 6 times and all right, I'm ready.
What's one of the things that she keeps talking about, and she has said this before, is that how this team needs to dig deep. You guys had the ability, but you'd known each other for a long enough time, one, because the year before the season was snatched away from you, plus a lot of how last year was as well. Do you feel like, based on those who experienced the national title, that they can dig deep, even though there's moving parts again this year?
Yeah, certainly. I feel like it's always in them. It takes a culture to win, and I feel like they've built that culture over time. Since Coach Drew has been there, the culture has been like building and building and building. So it would take a lot to knock the culture down. So I feel like they can still dig deep and find that winning aspect and find a winning spirit. And I mean, winning the regular season is cool. Winning the Big 12 tournament is cool. And we lost in the Big 12 tournament. I remember, sorry to get off topic, but when we lost in the Big 12 tournament, I remember like 5 minutes after we lost, like we started laughing in the locker room. We're like, hey, at least we get the rest for the real tournament, because we want to win a national championship. Like, it's cool to win the Big 12 tournament, but nobody remembers who the 2021 Big 12 tournament champions were. I mean, not only that, there's teams that, like Texas isn't even in the Big 12 anymore after this year, after next year, whatever it is. So like their conference won't even remember who the Big 12 tournament is, but everybody remembers the national championship. So that's the goal that they need to be striving for.
And you dominated the Final Four along with most every game the rest of the year, or throughout the year. Now, who taught you how to catch the football? Who was it in your family that taught you how to catch the football?
My grandpa.
Out
for sure.
Out in the yard and just...
Yeah, Rufus Brooks, he taught me how to catch. He just throw it to me soft. He's like, hey, look, man, you got to catch it. And he would catch everything. Like he would throw something to him and say, hey, Grant, catch. And he'd like turn and he would catch it. He was older. He was probably, I don't know, 68 years old, 70 years old. I'm not really sure how old he was when we were growing up. But yeah, he could catch everything. So he'd just tell us like, hey, just hold your hands like this. Just watch into your hands and see it into your hands. So he taught me how to catch a football. And honestly, I think that if I ever wanted to go out to be a wide receiver, I might not be fast enough, but I know I can catch the ball well enough. I wouldn't have many drops on the year. I know I could catch the ball well enough.
All right, one more thing. When you were in second grade and you came home crying because you were on your bike, what was happening to you? What happened that day?
I was on my bike and I was crying.
Yep.
My mom must have asked you that story. I don't really remember what happened. I must have lost something, and my mom probably told me to go back out there and play again.
Do you remember getting chased by a dog?
Oh, yeah. So I remember I was riding through the neighborhood, And we had all these big dogs in the neighborhood. Like, it was a whole bunch of big dogs. We had stray dogs that were always running around and stuff. And I remember probably like 2 weeks before that, I was at the park, and this big dog ran over there. My brother's like, Mace, hurry up. And he hopped on the fence. By the time I turned around, the dog was on the other side of the fence. Well, thankfully for me, the fence was like big enough and wide enough that I could avoid the dog. So I remember I was riding a bike pedaling, and I just heard the dog. So I took off pedaling as fast as I could, fell off the bike, and next thing you know, I ran into the house crying, and my parents went back out there to see about the dogs, and I told them where the house was. And I never got a good look at the dogs, but I promise you the dogs were it was like 4 Shih Tzus out there. They just chased me home, and I fell off the bike. So, yeah, that was crazy. And my parents, hey, going back out there, man. And they still talk about that to this day. I forgot about that one, actually.
Well, I'm sorry to bring it up. It was a Chihuahua. Your mom says it was a Chihuahua.
Man, it was some baby dogs out there. It was like 3 of them all in 1 yard. They were so small, man. That was crazy.
Hey, but
that's embarrassing.
That's strength in numbers, Macio.
No,
look,
exactly
you were
right.
you don't know, they're going to come at you from different angles.
Two get
quick.
one ankle, two get the elbow. Hey, it's great talking to you. I know you have a dream for the league. How much does that still fuel your fire every day you wake up?
Every single day. Very passionate about that. And like when I was at Asheville, I really wanted, when I transferred, I went to UNC Asheville. When I was there, I knew I wanted to go to a high major school. And every day I woke up and I knew I was like, one day I'm going to get there. One day I'm going to get there. And I knew I was going to persevere through. And it's the same thing here in the G League.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate your time, Macio. Good luck. Great to have you. Oh, man, he is. He's fun to talk to. You too. Macio Teague, national championship guard with the Salt Lake City Stars, part of the Utah Jazz organization. And love the story about the Chihuahua and also about everything else he talked about today. When we come back, Grayson Grunhafer